Figure it out. All right, we are back, y'all, for another episode of Total Speculation. And we only got a few episodes of this show left, man, because the season is coming soon. All right, training camp kicks off for all 32 teams this week, man. And I am going to my team's training camp this week as well, starting on Wednesday for us. Listen, speaking of my team, have you seen the Jaguars throwback uniforms?
I caught a glance at them. I wish that they would do like this, like modern, like new concepts type of stuff at some point. Like, I don't know. I guess the NFL jerseys don't really excite me anymore unless they're.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, dude, they all kind of lame, bro. Like, we need to come with something.
No. First of all, I honestly feel like the Jaguars have the best throwbacks out of any NFL team. Take a look at these bad boys. All right, this is beautiful. Look at this jersey right here. Okay, this is just a sexy jersey. To be honest with you, when I look at this jersey, I just ask myself, like, why did we ever switch? Like, what were we thinking when we moved away from this style? Because this is just beautiful right here. Okay, and I haven't gotten my jersey yet. But I'll tell you right now, I am eyeing a Fred Taylor and a Tony Boselli jersey very hard because this is just the most beautiful throwbacks. Just in my opinion, I feel like the Jaguars throwbacks are the best uniform in sports. Now, that's just my take on it, okay? But we'll move on, all right? Because we shouldn't be sitting here
you get
just
to move
talking
on
about
after
uniforms.
that. How convenient.
I mean, do you have something to add?
No, I just wanted to laugh along with you. No, I mean your colors are pretty cool. I don't know about in sports. I mean, hey, I respect the fact that you love your Jags that much. You guys do have really cool uniforms.
Well, it's just the throwbacks that I'm talking about. Like the regular uniforms, I wouldn't say are the coolest in sports, but the throwbacks, the 99, the original jerseys that they had, they were just so nice, so slick, so badass.
Yeah, they were pretty sweet. I do think it's time for a fresh upgrade, but I will say, like, the first uniform that comes to my head, like, for like newer ones that are cool, I think I hate saying this out loud because obviously Niner fan, but the Seahawks lime green ones, like, those are fucking tight. Like,
yeah,
I like those ones.
Those are nice. Those are nice as well. But let's move on, okay? Because listen, training camps, like we said, about to start, and Joe Burrow, all right, fully cleared for contact. Okay, this is going to be interesting because I do think that people have kind of just wrote Joe off, and there's a lot of people that have kind of just forgot how good Joe was. But there's also a lot of reports that the injury that he had, like that the mobility might not be the same. And I just want to see how it plays out, honestly. But he's definitely somebody that makes me nervous being in the AFC. Obviously, we are stuck with all the great quarterbacks in the league, unfortunately. But listen, just
great quarterbacks.
Yeah, well, I mean, we get like out of the top 10, it's like 8 of them in the AFC and like 2 in the NFC. Okay, maybe 3 max. But
no, you're right.
Just kind of annoying. Okay, I'm just being honest with you. I wish Joe could have sat out for a little bit longer, but welcome back, Joe. Perfect timing, right? He'll be right in sync with Ja'Marr Chase, and the Bengals are also basically said that they are getting the deal done with Ja'Marr Chase. They don't know when, but the owner came out. Everybody knows he's the brokest guy in the NFL, okay? But that doesn't mean that he can't afford a player here and there. So they are going to keep Ja'Marr Chase. Obviously, T. Higgins, he'll be gone. But speaking of contracts, okay, this is going to be the last little wave of signings and extensions, really, probably on this show, okay? But the Titans, we'll start with them. All right, they signed Jamal Adams to a 1-year, $1.25 million contract, which is the vet minimum, okay? So just hilarious when you think about where Jamal Adams was with his last contract to where he is now with this current contract. And as a Jaguars fan, I welcome Jamal Adams on the Tennessee Titans. Welcome to the AFC South, my friend. And I look forward to 2 matchups with you this year where we will tear you apart in pass coverage because that is something you have never been good at. So, hey, I find it interesting, though. It's funny to me that they signed Jamal Adams when you have Justin Simmons out there, still a free agent. At the time, Eddie Jackson was too, I believe. He ends up signing with the Ravens also. And he's just a depth player, by the way. Couldn't get the numbers on his contract, but he's not going to be the starter because they have Marcus Williams and they also have Kyle Hamilton, who does play the slot. So Eddie Jackson could get some playing time in like a big nickel type of situation, but still just a depth player over there with the Ravens. So they got some good pieces on that defense, obviously. We got the Texans making some moves. Okay. Funny enough, they signed the wide receiver Quintez Cephus. I think I'm saying his name wrong, but guy from Detroit that got suspended last year for gambling on the facility, basically. It looks more like a special teams type of signing because obviously their wide receivers are loaded, so he ain't getting no playing time over there at receiver. They also signed Cam Akers, which I feel like that is a sneaky good move. Cam Akers has just been a complete disappointment up to this point, to be honest with you. Just a guy that is more talented than his production has gotten him. So we'll see if he can get it turned around. He'll definitely be just a depth player fighting for – I think he'll have a chance to win that number 2 running back spot between him and Dameon Pierce. But I still think it's a good move. I couldn't get the numbers on his contract either, but I know it's going to be something super small, probably vet minimum, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to – I feel like they might pick him just because – like whoever wins the number 2 job is there for the goal line duties, I would imagine, right, between Pierce and him. So I don't know. I think Akers has a bigger body than Pierce is, I believe.
I don't know. Honestly, because I feel like all of them, like between Cam Akers, Dameon Pierce, and Mixon, I don't really see any of them as like a big power back, like for goal line situation. They're just all kind of like 3-down type of players, in my opinion.
I still can't believe that you were stressing about them getting Joe Mixon. I think the scary addition for your team is Diggs, at least just because it spreads you guys out more. And like, I don't know, I feel like that's very hard to cover. Like, if you guys,
obviously that's a bigger move for them, but Joe Mixon is still a good player, man. I mean, I'm looking right now to see when the last time he didn't hit 1,000 yards because he's been pretty consistent. Okay, he didn't have 1,000 yards 2 years ago, but he's been a pretty good player. I mean, always 1,000 from scrimmage. Maybe not always 1,000 rushing. He's been a good player for them. I mean, he's not a superstar, but he definitely stabilizes that running back room. Obviously, they had that was where they really struggled last year on offense. Was Dameon Pierce just didn't do it? Singletary had to take over kind of as the starting running back. He's gone now. He'll be the starter in New York, so. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's like a crazy scary move, but I think it completes their offense for sure.
Yeah, I guess.
And then with Cam Akers too, that kind of hint between Cam Akers and Dameon Pierce, I feel like you also still keep upside at your running back position. Like one of those guys could obviously take off. Dameon Pierce had a really good rookie year. I mean, I don't really know what the hell happened to him year 2, but he looked good as a rookie. So who knows? Maybe he'll bounce back. But also, okay, with the signings, Browns signed Dustin Hopkins to a 3-year, $15.9 million extension. That makes him a top 5 paid kicker in the league. And then the Broncos signed Quinn Meinerz to a 4-year, $80 million extension, $45 million guaranteed. The Broncos have spent some money on that offensive line. 4 positions they have paid big money to. So it's kind of like, listen, you guys – I don't know how much of a leash Sean Payton is going to get over there, but he's got his quarterback in Bo Nix, so we'll see what happens. And then the Packers extend Kenny Clark with a 3-year, $64 million extension, a nose tackle for them. He's been pretty good for them. So that's it for the signings and extensions until somebody gets hurt, really, which we will get to somebody in a second, actually. But a guy we've talked about many times, okay, Brandon Ayuk officially requests his trade. All right. I don't really want to talk about this too much. We've talked about this guy. All he's done is run his mouth all off season, man. All off season. Somebody on your team got tired of it. They posted something about it. You think you're the Juwan Jennings. There we go. You think you're the only reason this is working? But no, it's just interesting. I don't think he's going to get traded because he's not the first guy to ask for a trade, okay? Jimmy G asked for a trade. They said no. Deebo Samuel asked for a trade. They said no, sign this fat-ass contract. So who knows what's going to happen. But I think they're at the very least going to make him play out this year because you guys are in such a Super Bowl or bust type of mode. Because Brock Purdy's getting paid next offseason. Like, that's just what's happening. And I've heard that basically the plan is they are going to let go of one of the wide receivers and probably Kittle in the offseason when they go to pay Purdy. We'll see. I mean, who knows? But that's just what a couple of talking heads have said. But I think that the value he adds this year, it makes more sense than trading him personally. Unless you're going to get like somebody like I think it was you that brought up the Devontae Adams, the article that said the Devontae had like 1-for-1 spot. That's the only thing that would really make sense. And obviously, even then, it's going to be even more tougher on your cap constraints for this year because Devontae obviously costs more money. But I will say, I did read that Devontae has no more like guarantees after this year. So if you did do a 1-for-1 swap, it actually is possible if you can just get him under the cap for this year. So that would be nuts, honestly. I would just shake the NFL world altogether. And I definitely don't think that happening because guess what? Aaron Rodgers doesn't play for your team. So I mean, what are you gonna do there?
We're gonna trade the Jets for Aaron Rodgers and give him Purdy.
Dude, what kind of nonsense would they trade Purdy, somehow get Rodgers, and then trade for? Oh my God, the madness!
Dude, how smart would that be, dude?
Would you do it?
Yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm just asking.
Are you dumb? Who wouldn't do that?
I'm just asking. Jeez. I mean, Purdy's young, and Aaron Rodgers is old.
Yeah, because of Samuel and Kittle's like age and like where they're headed, I mean, I can feel that we're losing at least one of them next year for sure. And it's like this to me feels like, all right, we need to do it this year. Like if we don't do it this year, we're gonna need to probably wait like another maybe 2 to 3 to 4 years before we're back in like that serious talk of, hey, the Niners can make it to the Super Bowl. Because I feel like once you pay your quarterback, it's damn difficult to, keep your talented guys, like enough of them, and then still make a push. Like you gotta draft super well too to kind of replenish. So, hey, let's get to work in the draft room. Like hopefully Pearsall works out. If Pearsall is awesome, then we might not miss a beat. You know what I mean? Like, but we just don't know because I haven't seen that dude play yet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I do think that a lot is riding on this year for San Francisco. I agree. If you guys don't do it this year, it's going to take a couple of years. You're going to have to like kind of rebuild this thing a little bit. And I'm not going to say a rebuild. It's just going to be a slight reset. It's going to be like, we're going to have to drop some guys and we're going to have to develop some new ones.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's kind of how I feel also. It's like, is that going to be 4 years or are we going to hit now and hit the next year? You know what I mean? And then be fine.
You never know. Chiefs basically did do that.
Yeah, well, yeah. You also
they dropped Tyreek Hill and got all those freaking draft picks, let a ton of people on the defense go, and drafted a bunch of studs all in 1 year.
That is kind of true. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. In the videos, I know we all get excited about training camp or like just seeing football in general, seeing passes be thrown. But dude, Patrick Mahomes to Worthy right now looks gross. Like at least on video, it does. Holy shit! Like if that guy can actually catch a ball and like the whole other receiving, oh man, that's gonna be. And then Marquise Brown, like. Yeah, dude, the 3-peat might be on, bro.
Yeah, I mean Brown, their receiving core is so interesting because they had so many drops last year. They were like so shitty, but honestly, like the way that they developed and their age, like, and now they add Worthy, and like honestly, it could be pretty good. Hollywood Brown could break 1,200 yards and 5 touchdowns for sure. Rashee Rice, if he's not suspended half the year, is another potential 1,000-yard receiver. And who knows what Worthy would be, obviously, as a first-round draft pick for them.
And then you had Kelsey into that mix. You're like, fuck,
right.
Man.
Right. And Kelsey, like, oh, my God. When we talk about fantasy, have you seen where he's been ranked, like, on the overalls?
It's very low this year for some reason.
It's very low. It must be the age. It's got to be the age. But I'm like, in our league, there's no fucking way because he's like projected to make like the 3rd round, and I'm just like, bro, there's no way. There's no. I'll tell you right now, he's not making it to the 3rd round, and I know that for a fact. So. Because I'm not an idiot like the rest of these rankers. Okay, so. But it's just funny how fast things can change in a year. Obviously, they still won the Super Bowl, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he was the first round pick in our league, right? Last year.
yeah, dude, Kelsey's been a first round pick for like the last since Patrick Mahomes has been here. I mean, I understand that he's 35, but it's like, dude, you're literally guaranteed the top tight end. Like, who is about to dethrone this motherfucker?
Yeah,
Like,
for
honestly,
real.
Mark Andrews is like the only one that kind of has a chance. I guess maybe Sam Laporta. I mean, obviously he had a really good rookie year. I feel like Kittle doesn't because of the play,
No,
unless
I agree. No, you're
unless a bunch of people get hurt.
You're
like,
right.
So I don't know. It's just crazy talk. Just crazy talk.
Kittle's just a great tight end. He's not built for. I mean, he can have big games for fantasy, but he's
a great blocker and he does other.
Yeah, he's things. So up and down. Like, dude, he'll give you nothing for 4 weeks, explode for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then it's like, oh, next week 17 yards. Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, right. No kidding. No kidding, man. Trust me, as somebody that's owned him many years.
Yeah,
I know this.
Kelsey's always been like, I'm going to get you at least, 76 yards type of dude. Like you can pretty much guarantee you're getting over 70 yards with that dude. It's like, all right, I can take that from a tight end. Hell yeah, I get an advantage immediately.
And another question let me ask you about also that's been coming out with the Chiefs. Obviously, with the receivers being kind of deep as far as the amount of guys that they have. Kadarius Toney has been taking reps at running back now. Have you seen that?
No, but I'm assuming they're going to try and Cordero Patterson, like his career, basically.
It kind of makes sense. My man has dropped way too many passes at this point to be trusted to throw him the ball. And honestly, his entire skill set is after the catch, to be honest with you. So it kind of does make sense to give him a shot as a running back. But this might be his last leg, his last opportunity to be somebody. Okay, so we'll see how that works out. All right, let's move on. Okay, something that's just kind of been bothering me a little bit. Okay, I've seen this either 2 or 3 times now that JJ McCarthy has been doing a lot of off-season workouts with Adam Thielen, and it's just interesting to me. Okay, because listen, if I was the Carolina Panthers and I saw this, I'd actually be pretty pissed off, man. I'd be pretty pissed off that Adam Thielen is working out with the new Vikings quarterback. Why aren't you helping Bryce? You should be out working out with Bryce every week. What are we talking about? You're working out with JJ. Why? I just don't get it. For what reason? Is he paying you? I just don't get it. I just don't.
Yeah, no. What? When you read that, I had not heard that one single bit. I didn't even know teams did that.
I've just seen it multiple times, just from random people. It's like them throwing to each other, and I'm just like, why are you guys playing with each other? I just don't. Is Adam Thielen planning on getting cut and just going back to the Viking? I just don't. Just doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense. But hey, maybe this is the reason. Maybe Jordan Addison is unavailable because Jordan Addison recently was arrested on suspicion of DUI. So maybe he's been trying to work out with his teammates, but his teammates have been blowing him off. So who knows? Maybe that's what it is. But Jordan Addison, okay, this is his second offseason in a row where he's gotten himself into a little bit of a pickle, all right, because last offseason, my man was speeding, going 140 miles an hour, all right, and he actually ended up taking his Viking stuff off of his Twitter or Instagram or something like that. And I guess he said, if you don't want me to represent you, then I just won't represent you. So we'll see if there's any more drama with that. I kind of doubt that there will be. I don't know. Who knows, man? These guys get in trouble. I guess it could have been worse, but obviously my man doesn't want to do that right before camp. So no news is good news this time of the year. But another thing that's kind of scary to see. All right, so if you are a youngin out there, okay, I would suggest that you close your eyes for this one, all right, because Nick Chubb is a beast, all right, and my man, 8 months after surgery, let's just take a look at what he's doing. Look at this thing. The bar can't even hold this weight, okay? He's got to use a flexi bar. This is 540 pounds or some shit.
Yeah,
my man is squatting, okay? And if anybody remembers, this was one of the most gruesome injuries that you could have. And this is the second time that he's had it. All right. So I'm asking you, because I actually kind of just ruled him out. I was like, this guy, he's done. Is Nick Chubb back already? Is Nick Chubb a fantasy asset that people should go ahead and rely on week in and week out?
I mean, dude, he's Nick Chubb. I mean, if anyone's gonna beat some stuff, you know what I mean? Like, you trust guys that are freaks, dude. He's one of them. Like, the guy was a stud before, and it's not like he ever wasn't. It's just he got hurt. Dude, I still remember being with you and watching that game, and I could just see like you see it like flash before your eyes. And you're like, again, it happened again.
It did. It was very frustrating.
No, I'm sure. Yeah. So if anyone doesn't know, our boy here had Nick Chubb in fantasy last year. Yeah, that was just brutal. That happened, man. But I would trust him again. I don't know about how you feel, but as I always thought,
how early? Like, is he a first rounder still?
No, hell no. No.
I mean, I'm just asking because he's over here squatting 540 pounds like it's nothing.
No, that's fair. I mean, I could justify I would feel really good about round 3. I feel like round 2 is reaching, at least in our league and how our settings are. But I think round 3 is appropriate somewhere in there. So I think he's like got value, you know what I mean? Because that's like a starter for you. You know, you're not picking bench guys or anything close to it in round 3. Like, that's a guy you want to contribute. And I would just take the risk. I feel like high risk, high reward situation. Like, what do we play? We play fantasy to be pussies, or we play fantasy to win everything? You know what I mean? Like, I think we try and win it all and just go for broke. So I would take him in the 3rd round, at least in our league settings.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Honestly, Nick Chubb is one of those guys where you're right. It's like high risk, high reward, but also like, I'd have trouble sleeping. There's until I saw him back out there and like bust a 100-yard game with like 2 touchdowns, I would feel real uncomfortable just because, like, listen, he's been squatting all that weight and stuff, but we haven't seen him cut or anything. And I'm not saying that he can't come back. He is a freak, but also that injury was really bad. And do I think he can come back the very next year and be that guy? I kind of don't. I kind of feel like he needs at least a year to like dip your foot in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like, if I'm the Browns, I'm not giving this guy 25 carries a game to start. I'm starting you with like 10, and I need to see you like look like you on those 10 carries before I like start upping your usage. So I do think he could be one of those guys that ends up being like a league winner, like somebody where it's like it really paid off in the end because he hits his stride like halfway through the year, and all of a sudden you're just racking points. But at the same time, I could also see him being a guy where you're starting him every week because he's Nick Chubb. You can't put him on the fucking bench. It's fucking Nick Chubb. And then he's just like not getting you the points that you're hoping for. So I think it's like one of those, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't kind of moves right there. So
someone's going to do it. Someone's got to do it.
Oh, someone's definitely going to do it. No doubt about it. No question. Okay. All right, speaking of like roster moves, okay, the Dolphins are about to make roster moves because Shaq Barrett, who they signed this offseason, decided, fuck it, dude, I'm fucking done. And he retired. Okay. Now, this is really kind of big news for the Jaguars, in my opinion, because now, since he announced that, okay, the Dolphins decided we're going to go out here and we are going to see if we can get some new pass rushers. So they're hosting 2 free agents, Yannick Ngakoue, Emmanuel Agba, who was on their team last year. And listen, there are 2 main pass rushers that they already have on the team. Jalen Phillips is hurt, and he's not going to be ready week 1. And then also Bradley Chubb, also hurt, won't be ready week 1. They also drafted, I meant to look it up before we did the show, but they also had a first-round draft pick that was an edge rusher. And I felt like they did it solely because those guys weren't going to be ready. So I kind of wish that they would have that Shaq Barrett would have announced his retirement way closer to the season, because it kind of sucks if they get these guys because they're playing the Jags week 1. So it would have been nice if they weren't ready as far as edge rusher goes. But it's just a shame. It's just a shame. But Shaq Barrett, congratulations. Pretty good career. Nothing spectacular, but a solid player, good starter. I'm kind of surprised he retired. He's not that old. So I guess he's just a pussy. Who knows? But good for you. Good for you, you rich son of a bitch. All right, listen. Another thing I've been seeing lately, and I just wanted to take a look at it personally, okay? There's been a lot of this is one of many that I've seen that from Twitter posts. This one, NFL rumors, that Javonte Williams and Samaj P. Ryan are going to be in a battle for one roster spot this year. I think that is crazy when you think about where Javonte Williams was just like 2 years ago. Okay. I don't know, man. I just feel like you're going to not even give him a roster spot. Like, I feel like with somebody like that, I mean, it was like a second-round draft pick. You should at least let him play out his contract, just see if he can get it back together. This website right here shows him as the starter, but I don't know. I'm trying to just look at these other names. Like how does he not make this team? Like, I mean, honestly, like I look at this roster and I'm like, what do you mean he might not make the team?
Dude, I honestly feel like stuff like that comes out on purpose because I bet you like that team wants him to be motivated in some form or fashion. And he's
just try to push him.
Well, yeah, like they might not be getting through to him like in practice. Like, hey, like, come on, Javonte, like we need you to do this, that, or third. Maybe he's just one of those guys that just needs an extra kick in the ass or something. And like this was like their way of being like, hey, you might not even be here, pal. Like you want to keep fucking around. I don't know. That's what I can see being realistic too. Is like if I'm a coach, you know what I mean? Like that's to me, that's not a bad idea. Like you give the guy a little public pressure real quick. Like I don't know. It's not like you're not dogging them. You know what I mean? You're saying, hey, like they're fighting for a job. Okay, like this is professional sports. You're always fighting for a job. That's what you need to understand. Is like there's always a guy behind you. There's always a guy behind you. Like give me your best all the time, practice or not. I want you to be the best you. You know what I mean? So like that's how I can see a coach doing that.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was like crazy, but you're probably right. It's probably some dumb shit like that. And he actually is going to not just make the team, but also be the starter because I don't even see who else is really going to be the starter. I mean, I guess Perrine could cut into his carries a little bit like he did last year, but I don't know. It just seems nuts to me. All right, one last guy that I just wanted to talk about. I've actually known this for a while. I kind of had this on the docket. But he was officially put on the PUP list, which a few other guys were too. But Ryan Ramczyk, he's actually expected to miss this entire year, and he might never play football again. So because of his injury, I don't really know the specifics, but I just know that there's a really strong chance that he doesn't play football again. He was a great player, honestly. So sad to see him go, but wish him the best now that he's in his post-playing career more than likely. He's still rehabbing, and they said like he'll probably try for 2025, but that basically like the knee that he injured hasn't responded. So we will see. And then also, I wasn't sure if I was going to touch on this, but you know what? We got time. You know, there's not really that much to talk about. We're pretty much done, but why not throw it out there? Okay, so I don't know why, you know, sometimes you just run across something, you read it, and it just kind of like bothers you. And I was like scrolling on Facebook. I'm in these like little NFL chat groups, so sometimes people like start shit. And somebody asked if Mike Vick should be in the Falcons Hall of Fame. Okay, and so normally I don't comment on shit like this, but today I guess I just had time. I don't know, I just did, and. I actually looked at his stats, just double checked everything, looked at what he did, and I said, fuck no, I don't think Mike Vick should be in the Falcons Ring of Honor, because when I look at Mike Vick's, and specifically, it's not that I don't think Mike Vick was a good player. It's just talking about specifically, should he be in the Falcons Ring of Honor? And my man played 6 seasons with the Falcons, okay? First year didn't really start, kind of had like that rookie sit type of year. They used to do that back in those days. Okay, but overall, throughout his career, okay, he had 3 winning seasons out of the 6. Well, I guess 4 if you count the year that he was hurt, because he had another year where he basically just didn't play the entire year. He played 4 games, was 3-1, but never hit 3,000 passing yards. Okay, his biggest accolades was really rushing, and I mean, like, yeah, he was a good rusher and he was a very talented player, but they only made the playoffs 1 time with him. So I don't know. I look at the stats. I think Michael Vick's a good player. I think he'll even make the Hall of Fame. And if you ask me, should he? Probably, just because of the way he was a rusher and the way he kind of pushed the game in that direction. But the Falcons Ring of Honor, personally, if I was a Falcons fan, I would just want the bar higher than that, just personally. But I got really attacked by people who strongly felt the opposite way and told me, like, basically the argument was like, he did so much for Atlanta. And every time I asked, what exactly did he do for Atlanta? Nobody actually gave me any real answers as to what he did for the city of Atlanta. But he was explosive. And they would say that if he didn't get in trouble with the off the field stuff, he would have been one of like the greatest Falcons ever. But to me, it's like, yeah, but he did. And also, all that shit happening kind of set back your whole fucking franchise, if we're being honest with you. Because now you got to figure out the whole quarterback situation again. It worked out. You ended up getting Matt Ryan. But still, personally, I just thought for me, I would say no. That's all. That's all, man. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I get why people like him. I mean, just because he was electric. You know, you like to watch guys like that. The guys that are like, who the hell wants to watch something boring and not, you know, not interesting, not fun? Mike Vick, especially at that time, man, like he just brought about a new element that was like way cool, and we all loved to play him. And I don't care what you say, you loved being Mike Vick and Madden at some point in your life if you like football.
Oh no, I'm sure he's.
You
awesome.
played video games growing up, like he was a cheat code, man. Like, dude, like they made him special on the screen, like in video games. Also, it was just, yeah, it was great, man. So I get it. He's iconic because everyone like who knows football knows Mike Vick. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We're all guilty of something. So.
I mean, listen, I'm agreeing with you. Like, I'm not disagreeing with any of those points. I just think when you talk about a specific team's Ring of Honor, you're talking, he played there for 6 seasons total. One was a rookie year where he only started 2 games. And then one of those years he was hurt and only played 4 games. So he basically got 4 years of him as a starter, and he made the playoffs 1 time. Like, I just don't see why you put somebody like that in your Ring of Honor.
You're saying that's all from statistical standpoints. People are remembering. Not everyone's as statistical as, you know, every other fan is. Like, some people just watch the games only. Like, they don't go dive deep like we do because we play fantasy, so we know all that shit now. You know, that's what we look for. We look for stats. We love stats. That's what sports is about, is stats. I get that, but it's the on the field. Like, how special was that guy on the field? I loved watching Michael Vick. I had no idea about how bad his stats were until just now. Because, like, if you replace that name with another name, you'd probably be like, oh no, like, keep that guy out of the ring. Are you kidding me? But it's just because of name value. Like, he has so much name value. He brought so much recognition to Atlanta that's why he's even being considered for the Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? Like, that's why people. It's because everyday Americans enjoyed watching Mike Vick play football, regardless of whether or not they went deep into the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, they still would tune in to watch him because he was special.
I get it. I mean, I can appreciate that. And if the Falcons want to put the bar that low as to, like, we're going to put anybody that was like electric and like fun to watch in our Ring of Honor, then sure, Falcons fans, go ahead, put them in there. Whatever. I mean, it's no skin on my back. I just personally, if he played for the Jaguars and he gave me 4 seasons as a starter, I just wouldn't want him as my Ring of Honor quarterback. But I digress. It doesn't even matter. I don't even really care, to be honest with you. I really don't. It doesn't fucking matter. Mike Vick's a great player. I think he'll make the Hall of Fame. I just don't think that he should be in the Ring of Honor for the Falcons, personally. But listen, doesn't matter. Okay, we're in the best time of the year right now. This is like when it's December 15th and you're a child and you're like 10 days away from Christmas. That's how I feel right now. Okay, we're about, like, I want to say probably 10 days from the Hall of Fame game, but really, like, peak year is, like, to me, it's like the first game of the season.
August, yeah.
The first game of regular season, like, that is the peak. Like, you have the entire season ahead of you.
Yeah.
Nothing bad could have possibly happened yet. Also, like, whether it's your team, like, even if you played Thursday and lost, it's only one loss. It's not the end of the world. So, yeah, it's just the most wonderful time of the year, man. We got mad documentaries coming out right now too. The Untold, as it has 3 new sports stories coming out, 2 of which are football. Okay, we have the murder of Air McNair, so I can't wait for that one. And then they're also dropping The Sign Stealer, which is about Connor Stallions, the dude from Michigan with the sign stealing. So that is going to be a great watch. You'll be in town, I believe, when both of those drop. So we'll probably end up watching those together. Pumped for that too. You're coming to town, so it really is the best time of the year. I can honestly say that. It just feels great. Life is good. I hope everybody out there has a great week. We just have a short show today, okay? We only got a couple of these left, and then we got to move to something else because it's not the off season anymore. So let's just enjoy it, man. Take it all in. And till next time, We're going to catch y'all later. All right.